I would like to start by putting out there that I don't think of heart-to-heart communication as necessarily meaning a specific place. If we start thinking about the heart, it's really easy to go into a constricted mode, even if you have the most wonderful, positive, loving feelings. If you're concentrating it on this area, on a specific part of you, then it's very easy to slip into compartmentalizing and excluding the rest of you. And that'll just cause tension. Good people try hard to be good and giving and loving, and we have a lot of people pleasers here. We are heart-centered beings. We are loving people. But if you do it that way, it's heavy and hard. and I'd rather we thought of lightheartedness. And when you think of lightheartedness, like Marty, you suddenly lit up. Your whole self just got freed up. I just saw you happened to be looking over there and he just opened up your whole self. To me, that is more of an open-heartedness, right? Or a lightheartedness. And for me, that is how I think of a heart-to-heart connection, which isn't even really about the heart unless you want to include your whole self as your heart. It's just words ultimately. But I wanted to bring that up because I think a lot of people talk about the heart without realizing that the way they're thinking about the heart is actually causing a compression in themselves and therefore in the other people that you're relating with. Like if I did that now, if I focus on my heart and I talk to you that way, now I'm really here in my awareness and it's intense and I really care about all of you. Can you feel the tension? Like if I go there and as teachers, if you really love your students, you can hurt them. And because you'll overgive and you'll overdo. And we do the same thing as parents. We do the same thing as performers. If you really want to communicate the music you love so much, you're going to be passionately engaged and involved and you want to connect and communicate, and people play like that all the time and it's really emotional and it'll stir up your emotions and people will feel emotional, but it's heavy. People can like that, but it's not really helpful. Unless somebody is just so disconnected from that, then it can be really, cathartic to wake up somebody's awareness of, a need for that direction. Then you can blow somebody apart, they fall apart, but then there's a possibility for them to, rearrange in a better way. So nothing's bad. It's just a lot harder to have to go through that heavy emotional experience than, hey, how about we just really connect in an open, carefree way where I get to be myself in my own space. I'm not invading anybody else's space, but I'm also inviting people into my space if they choose to come into my space. I'm free, you're free. You can take what I'm giving or leave it. And I'm okay if you take it, and I'm okay if you leave it. That's just healthy, right? It's healthy for the giver and it's healthy for the receiver. And that's actually what we're talking about. We're talking about communication as giving and receiving. And of course, it's a constant flow back and forth, but it can't be if you're just in giving mode. Then you can't actually be receiving from your audience. And I think we forget about that a lot. We know that intellectually as performers, we know that we are affected by the energy of the audience. If you have people in the audience that are just sitting here like this, that's hard to play for, right? It's like if you have a dead audience and they clap like this afterwards. It's like, God, that's really hard. So we know we are influenced by the energy of the audience. And yet we feel like it's our responsibility to give and to make our audience feel something. Well, that's not giving your audience the freedom to have their own experience. And it starts the moment you step on stage. The performer really has a lot of power, for lack of a better word. You are in control of the situation. The moment you walk out, all eyes are on you. Just that's human nature, because there's nothing happening and suddenly there's a moving object. That's an animal instinct to see the moving object. Okay, so person walks on stage, all eyes are on you. So everybody's wondering, what's that person going to do? Well, that puts the ball in your court. So you're in charge. You've got control over the room. Use it, but use it to be grateful that they're giving you their attention, and then just be yourself. And then if you're getting out of the way, you're doing your constructive thinking, your purpose is to find out what happens. And then you have another purpose to actually communicate with your audience. It happens naturally. And if you get out of the way like that, you're integrating your whole self. That's what constructive thinking is about. It's about integrating your thinking, your mind with your body, which includes your heart, and your emotions, which includes your heart, spirit, soul, whatever you want to include as you. The whole self of you is what gets delivered de facto. If you're constrictive, that gets delivered. If you're open and free, that gets delivered. And it's up to you in that first moment that you step out. So what do? You take care of that before you step out. Like you are aware of being present. You do your constructive thinking. You are intentional before you walk out. And then you have a better chance to be able to fulfill your intention to yourself and your audience. So that's what I wanted to share today about how I think about heart-to-heart communication with an audience. And really, it's no different whoever you're talking to, an individual, a group, an audience, a partner. It's still this kind of communication where there's ease and freedom and a give and take in the communication when you're getting out of the way, and that allows you to just be yourself and express yourself freely.